So my plan is going to be to just kind of record your story, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
And I'd love to share kind of your experiences because I think a lot of people are being affected by this virus in different ways, and we as a community need to come together and brainstorm some unique ways that we can help. And so let's just start with a little bit on how you're doing today.
I'm
If
doing well. I
you'd
got
like
some more
to
energy.
introduce yourself, yeah.
Oh, Liza Fisher. I live in Houston, Texas. I'm originally from Ohio, and I am now 37 years old. I am a flight attendant, international flight attendant for a private airline, and part-time yoga instructor.
Very cool. Well, I think we kind of have Dr. Mack to thank for bringing us together. But do you know how you got COVID?
Um, no, no, not really. I don't really worry about it too much because at this point, I just figure the damage is done. There's so many different, like, unless you can really pinpoint a specific thing, it's just so it's out there. It's so easy to get it. I mean, at this point, you can just walk by somebody, and if they're not masked and you're not masked, that's where we are at this point in our society. So
What were some of the symptoms that you first started with?
I had kind of like a scratchy throat rundown. I really just thought I had like a bad sinus infection is what I thought I was coming down with for like kind of a couple days. And then June 27th is when I woke up, and that's when I knew, oh, no, this is not a sinus infection.
Mhm.
Just felt miserable.
And how long after that did you start to experience, lower extremity? And talk a little bit about those symptoms, lower extremity. I'll let you tell your story to that.
That's when I started feeling the respiratory stuff and the massive headaches. And from then on, I haven't been able to get rid of the headaches. And so then the respiratory stuff happened. July 2nd is when I got my positive result. I did have a negative result prior to that.
Mhm.
And then from the respiratory, I moved on to an overlap of gastrointestinal. And that went on for like, well, that just kind of morphed because I'm still dealing with gastrointestinal stuff.
Mhm.
And then about the second or third week is when I started having some weird neurological stuff. In the middle of conversations, I would just stop. I didn't really know what I was talking about. I couldn't think. I started calling it brain hiccup. And that's when I started going online and reading about brain fog. I'm like, is this what they're talking about? Brain fog? And then I started seeing like paresthesia, the tingling sensation. I was kind of seeing flashes of light. And then I started like shaking, but I thought that was just the cramping from being weak because I wasn't able to keep food or hydration in from my gastrointestinal system.
Oh my goodness.
And I had 2 ER visits. After about 30 days, my doctor wanted more blood work, but I couldn't get in anywhere because I wasn't testing negative. And at that point, she said, go to the ER again. And they admitted me into the COVID wing. I spent 2 days there and then another 5 days in ICU. And then I went to rehab, and that's where I met Dr. Mack. And about August 11th, 18th, and I get a little fuzzy because I had a lot of memory
Sure.
at that point, is when I did fairly well at keeping a medical journal. Because at the beginning, my friend had suggested that, and I started taking videos and posting them online because I was like, I don't have the energy to write. I can't write
Yeah.
everything now. But that's when I noticed my handwriting changing. So I attribute that to like tremors and weird stuff. But that's when I had noticed in my journal that all of that had started happening. And and then I remember them telling me that my feet were scissoring, and I didn't recognize that, and my heels weren't touching the ground. And then everything just kind of blew up from there.
I think Dr. Mack told me that they tried some other, leg stimulator, peripheral type thing.
Yeah, they had Bioness came in and did like the Bioness 300 foot drop stuff. They had a couple of weeks where they were coming in and doing trials, but I was maxing out on stimulation with that without interfering with my muscles. And
Mm-hmm.
then my neurologist, Dr. Gutierrez, had recommended that I put on like stems. So I was wearing a stems unit underneath my TED hose for up to
Mm-hmm.
6 hours a day, every day.
Wow.
And that had like slowly dissipated, but I mean, not really anything to touch it.
So then kind of fast forward, we then, we link up through Dr. Mack and set up a spinal cord stimulator trial. How quickly after or during that trial were you able to appreciate any differences, and what were those differences?
Um, let's see. That evening, actually, my feet were still in the bed. And then the next morning, being able to wake up and not see my feet shake in the bed like this. I mean, my feet, you can see my hand right now. That's what my feet were doing. And then just to see the difference of what you see my hand doing versus that,
Wow.
kind of see, there you go.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's
Wow.
kind of the difference that I was experiencing.
And at the rehab unit then during the trial, were you able to do more of some of the prescribed exercises, or what did you experience
Um,
there?
at the trial, I was still in the hospital, so I wasn't able to go back up to the rehab, but I
Okay.
had learned enough of the exercises, some of them to do on my own.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's a couple of videos of me walking in the hospital, and I was able to just, first off, just get up out of my chair with ease. And I was on kind of like a more min assist with the gait belt, and my feet didn't scissor. That was the cool thing. And I was able to look straight up, which was awesome because I was leaning down a lot. Now I have still some issues with proprioception, but to just, I didn't even realize it. They noticed it before I do, and we're kind of like seeing big smiles. And I'm like, what? And they're like, you're not looking down at your feet. I was like, oh, cool. And then, I mean, I almost had a step through gait with a walker. And that was the first time, let's see, we did that in late September, October. That was the first time since July that I had been able to walk like that.
How long has it been since we've implanted that final implant?
No, November 9th.
November 9th. So over a month, just over a month.
Mm-hmm.
What's your mobility status like now?
Now I'm up to about 200 feet with my walker. And that's a lot because of my endurance. I still have to use the inhaler. My heart rate goes up. I have a lot of like kind of dysautonomia type issues still that I'm working with, and vestibular issues. But I just have kind of like a little baby tremor in my heels still, and a little swing through with my foot. But I'm working on lifting knee up more and planting my heel to toe, just more of a like getting my gait down.
Sure, sure. Wow, what a journey for you, and you're making amazing progress. Um, Anything
I have
you'd
a lot
like
of
to?
your help to attribute that to.
It was Dr. Mack bringing us together.
Yes.
Right
Yeah.
place, right time. She just happened to be telling me about you, and I said, we owe it to you to at least go through the trial, right? That's the nice thing about it is you get to test it out and tell me if it was going to change your life or not. Anything you want to share with patients, doctors, anybody that might come across this video?
Try it. Try it. I want the information to be out there for on both sides, for patients and doctors. I don't think people realize how much it's affecting that many people out there. I'm part of a lot of support groups on like Facebook and Instagram and things online, and tremors are not talked about in like in the media and stuff. People were really surprised that I got them from COVID. And I mean, even I was like, am I getting Parkinson's? Am I getting MS? What's going on with me? And I will say mine are fairly severe, but when I went online, a lot of people are struggling with them, and some people get them and they go away and they come back months later. And so this is to me, it's a viable option to change people's lives. And if this information can get out there and help someone, please. And if you want to come talk to me, my journey is on Facebook. Ask me questions. I'm an open book.
Thank you so much. And for anybody that might be looking at this from the medical side, we used the Abbott Burst stimulation platform. And equally so, we need to get the word out and just try it, see if we can help people. Well, thanks, Liza. We'll see if we can't get you a link to this video as well so you can share it with others.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.